everybody has their job and their purpose of what they're going to do for the community. Yes. The issue that I have is that when we as a community start looking at their job that is more important than the engineer or the doctor or the lawyer or the nurse that's going to save my life. I don't need a goddamn celebrity if I'm sick. I need a doctor, a nurse, a lawyer, a teacher, a fireman, all that. When shit really, really do happen, all you gonna do is boop, bop, wop, the tap dance, and that's it. You can't do nothing for me.
That's right.
So at the end of the day, you're looking at somebody who's really just entertainment, and I really want a lot of us to get out of the entertainment. If you're gonna do that, use that to spread the word of wealth, of doing something for the community. Because you can show those doggone houses and all that, but when it's time for you to make your liquor and you come to me and I ask you for a $75,000 check and you ain't got no money and you want a payment plan, then you really don't have something going on. Because at the end of the day, you're coming to me to manufacture for you. At the end of the day, when you're doing entertainment, I'm paying you to work for me.
There you go.
Right? You're not doing the...
Well, you have it, folks. There's a difference.
There's a difference, So I was going to say what she said about, wisdom. So when people pay for wisdom, the Bible tells you get wisdom at any cost. So basically, no matter what it costs you, you should be chasing after wisdom. So if I went to a celebrity or if I sat down with a celebrity and they say, okay, it's going to cost you $1,000 to come to my event, I have to look and see, okay, what are you offering? Do I see that as valuable or of a value to me? One thing I don't do, I know on my job, they'll say, you're a rock star, whatever. And I said, that's nice. But I had to stop them. Because I was like, slow your roll with that. Because I don't mind comments, but I don't wear them on my sleeve. I don't mind compliments. I don't wear them on my sleeve. Because when you do that, like right now, if I complimented you about your hair, or if I complimented you about your outfit, and I complimented you about your outfit, okay, that's really nice. But you got to be very careful when people do those things, because the same way they did Jesus, in one breath they'll praise you, one breath they'll condemn you.
Yes.
So you won't nail me to a cross just because you give me a few nice words.
Yes.
So you have to be careful. You got to pretty much dissect and analyze what words are that you take in.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So if I decide to go, say if Vanessa offered the class and say, okay, I'm gonna teach you how to distill or whatever, and I deem that as valuable, then I'm gonna pay the price that she's offering, that she puts out there.
Yes.
The problem is, I think with most people is they want to know, like we said earlier, how can I get it quickly?
Yes.
So I'm gonna pay to try to get what you've learned, so I can earn it.
Over a lifetime.
Yeah, over a lifetime. 10 years, 20 years it took you to go through this schooling.
That's good.
You know what I mean?
That's
and
good.
I'm going to try to get it in a day, a month, or a year.
Yeah.
The problem of it is, it's just going to be just like those 3 little pigs. The wolf going to come and blow that mother down. You hear me? He going to blow that down because you don't have the stamina.
Yes.
Your generation needs to learn how to get stamina.
Yeah.
Okay.
They will never know what an antique is, because everything is just turned over too quickly.
Yeah.
Everything is too liquid.
So what advice would you give someone that's trying to be an entrepreneur, a young lady, or someone that's watching y'all, that's hearing y'all? What advice could y'all give someone?
Every day I'm hustling. Every day I'm
That's
hustling.
it. Y'all know Black Mama. She gonna give it to you real raw and up front.
But she's telling the truth.
Yeah.
You can't see. I think the issue is being afraid to get in there and get dirty. When Vanessa says, "Look, I'm in this distillery until 3 a.m." Most of us, we'll sit on Instagram until 3 a.m. We'll sit on Facebook until 3 a.m. We wake up Instagram. We lay down Instagram. And all the other social platforms. We'll put more time and energy into that. We don't invest in ourselves. Instead of watching a video of somebody else making a video, why don't you make your own?
Yes.
Invest in you. So if I had to give any advice, it would be invest in yourself.
Yeah.
See what you can do, and don't go do what somebody else is doing.
Yeah.
Find your own purpose. You know what I mean? Like, what gifts do I have? And there's not just one gift. And don't be afraid to fail or take risk. Because when you are afraid to fail and take risks, and you know why? That's because we're so judgmental. But you got to put all of that aside. You got to start caring less about what people think about you. Because I tell brides all the time, I'll turn down an event. I don't chase money. Money chases me.
There you go.
You know what I mean? And I'll turn down an event in a heartbeat. I have no problems with doing that. I don't do the whole Bridezilla thing when that was big. You call me with drama because I'm going to tell you this is how I do it. Plain and simple. If you two were thinking about getting married, even though you're married, let's just say, for instance, you two thinking about getting married. You come to me and you say, well, okay, we want this, and this at our wedding, and this is how we want it. And then you come back later and say, well, you know what? I changed my mind. I think I want this, and this. The first thing I'm going to ask you, whose decision was it? Because if you tell me, well, my mom doesn't want this and his mom doesn't want that, at that point I'm out, because you two have lost focus on what your purpose is of coming together. I don't do drama. I don't do drama. So I'm actually here to help you two. I'm not with your mom. I'm not with your mother, your future mother-in-laws, your aunts and aunt who don't eat pork and don't want this and don't want that. And you know what? How about this? We done lost sight of our purpose. The purpose is for you two to come together, find your purpose while you're together, and become that power couple, that powerful family. That's what it is. So in your stay under wisdom. Don't be afraid to be an outcast. Or an outlier. Don't be afraid. Because people gonna talk about you, and this is something else I tell my brides and customers too. All these people want these big fabulous weddings, and they say, you know what, I got 300 guests at my wedding. Well, you just invited 300 people to critique you top to bottom. Don't give a darn about you. And guess what? And you just paid a whole lot of money to be critiqued.
That's a fact.
That's what you paid for. You know what I mean?
You can't just have a whole bunch of Braxtons like we did at our wedding and 288 people. No, they ain't critiqued.
And she said critique it. You got 300 people to bring to be critiqued.
Yeah, right?
That's real.
Right? So here's the deal. Why not sit here and figure out, like when my husband and I, we got married in a rec center. Because
we did too.
Yeah, because you know why? We wanted to buy a house, so we bought our first home. In our 20s, we bought our first home. That was the goal. I care less about a rec center. I could have took that wedding dress off and played some basketball afterwards. That would have been me. Because I can care less about what you think, because I'm more so focused on where we're going. So
people lose sight of the purpose.
People they lose sight. So purpose.
And to jump on top of that, I'm glad you did that, because back then, and we talking about back then, 27 years ago.
94,
it was about
95.
Yeah, it was about buying your first house. Going to school. Doing, we didn't have all this social media. Try to get it as what you can, and try to build for your family later on, so you can have what you have. And I'm gonna commend my husband on this, because for me, I've always been, okay, we gotta do this, that,
Girl, you and I both.
And he
me too.
Right? Yeah. And then he'll say, okay, slow down.
That's my
Me too. That's Richie. So maybe they all just say, no, me too.
But then at the end of the day, 2020 hindsight, when I, decided to say, oh no, we gotta do this. So I gotta convince him, we gotta do this. And then he'll go along with it. He'll go along with it, but then it was a good idea, because we got our house before we got married.
There you go.
6 months before we got married. So we got the house, and then 6 months later, or 9 months later, we got married, and we paid for our own wedding.
There you go.
So my thing was always to have coming back from my honeymoon to my house.
Oh, go ahead, tell
Not
the truth.
to
Or how about
his
this?
parents' house, my parents' house. I wanted that, and I foresaw that, so I focused and worked on that for the years that we were working.
Or how about you pay for your house?
You
How
know what
about
I'm
this?
saying?
How about these brides? And I don't want to downplay brides, because it's a beautiful thing. But the fact that you just mentioned you paid for your wedding, you have some people still paying on cakes, and they've been married 5 years. How you pay for sugar, flour, butter?
I had a 9-tier cake. How you still paying for the cake?
some people are still paying
Living
for.
How old are
above
you?
their
How much are
means.
these cakes?
Yeah.
How much is the cake?
I have no idea.
Yesterday's price
It's
is not today's price.
For sure. Yep.
Right?
1994's price is not 2000's price.
Right?
Yeah.
No,
But you have to,
Yeah.
So you gotta pick and choose. You know, if it were me, I think I would just pick and choose. Like, okay, do we have this elaborate wedding, or do we go ahead and continue to build and invest in our future? Because weddings are just shows for everybody else.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
It becomes elaborate.
No, you know what gets me, and no shade. Don't come for me, Richie.
Oh no,
and
Pastor.
the gang.
Oh no, listen, Pastor. We not coming for you because.
But how
Don't
about
come for
this?
me because you're going to be surprised with that 4-4. But
this is what gets me is like when we had baby. Now you're gonna back me up. When we had baby showers or wedding showers or bridal, you know, we had those little accordion bells. You just sat on the table, or a swan. You threw a little plastic tablecloth on. You put some little mints inside that little swan, and you called it a day.
Yeah,
We don't know nothing about that.
No, wait, come on now. That
We
was
got
it.
centerpieces, man.
No. How about these big king and queen cheers?
Yeah,
And,
yeah,
you know, the baby
yeah.
name, welcome baby prince.
Yeah.
I didn't even know. Yeah, they
Yeah.
do this.
Oh, come on. But see, this is what gets me, is that if you're gonna name me that, then prepare that type of life for me. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
if you
Well-
say I'm a prince, then show
Wow.
me,
Yeah.
or be that parent that
Yeah.
knows how to be that king and that queen
Yeah.
to help me be that, you know, that
Yeah.
prince in a sense.
Yeah.
Because
I love that
I
analogy.
don't want, it hurts me. It does. I'm gonna be honest. It hurts me when I see these elaborate events and these children are set up for failure.
No, for real.
Just
Wow.
because you
No, for
name me
real.
something does not necessarily mean that's what I'll be.
Yeah.
You know, you
For
can
real.
name me Destiny all day long. No shade to the Destinies, you know, but does Destiny have a destiny?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Does Prince have a castle?
Right.
But no, she did. No, you a Braxton.
Right? No, I mean, really, like, yeah, you know, it's nice.
She a
Oh
Braxton
my
for real.
God.
Look at
She
that.
said, does Prince have a castle? Prince is
Yeah,
going
right.
back to the apartment. What are you talking about?
Won't you stop, Asia?
Oh, she said, do Prince have a castle?
Yeah,
Oh.
right?
No,
No,
she's being so real.
So your husband, what does your husband do? He's an engineer.
He's an engineer, but most people think engineer has to deal with driving a train,
Okay.
you know, and it's not. And he's a licensed professional engineer. That's what the PE is for.
Okay.
There are very few black professional engineers in the U.S.
Okay.
You know, you find them prevalent in the Asian community, a lot of Indian people, a lot of white people. You know, in Indian community, it's if you're not a doctor, lawyer, engineer, we don't want you to be part of the family.
Right.
Oh, yeah, it's
Because
very
they're
strict.
prominent professions that's, you know, the money's infinite.
Yeah.
You know, but it's a requirement for you to get a PE license if you want to stamp drawings. And people don't know what that really is.
Right.
You know, it's in the science industry, but let's say, for example, this building, right? You wanted to build, you got a plot of land, you wanted to build your own building, right?
Right.
On your real estate.
Okay.
You're gonna go to the town. They're gonna tell you you need an architect or an engineer.
Okay.
So you go to an engineer, have them do your plans, stamp it. The town, the city, the government will not take your drawings for you to build until you have that stamp.
Does he
By
draw
an
it?
engineer. Yeah, he can draw it, or a team draw it. But
Okay.
those are architectural engineering plans.
Wow.
And part of that is, you know, you have an architect. Most people know architects,
Right.
but it's the engineers that make shit work.
Right.
'Cause-
Right. Yeah.
So, you know, and then you have a civil engineer. I
Yeah.
did structural, civil structural, which
Okay.
is more on the foundation, pouring concrete.
Okay.
You know, and doing the calculations for loads, calculations. People don't understand what it takes to build bridges, tunnels, everything in this life cycle. You need an engineer,
Yeah.
and people don't even realize. Even to make this mic,
Right.
to make this mic, to make this, you need an engineer to design this.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and even just for the room, the chairs, everything needs an engineer. It's either an industrial engineer, electrical engineer, mechanical engineer, my
Yeah.
husband's mechanical,
Yeah.
or civil engineer.
Yeah.
You know, but when it comes to building,
Wow.
and doing
essential.
construction,
Yeah.
you need to have a licensed PE.
There you go.
And we don't have too many of those in our community to see a licensed PE stamping those drawings.
Yes.
That way you can go and do what you gotta do, because otherwise you can't make a move.
Yes.
Period.
Yeah.
So he's the other plug on top of you.
Can we get a hand clap for that plug?
Right?
Oh God! Y'all just plugged in.
Right?
I need to get a socket.
But it's essential. I really want more of our.
amazing.
I want more of our community to get into the science and get into these industries, because I'll tell you this for sure. If there's if a meter, let's say something was gonna hit this world, and you had to rebuild, they ain't taking no entertainers, the celebrities.
Won't you
They
stop?
calling engineers.
Tell the truth.
They're calling engineers. These are essential.
Or how about this one?
And doctors, lawyers, people to cook,
'Cause these
horticulturists. We're not doing the stuff that these kids.
But these
need to
kids
see.
today, they know video games.
Yeah.
They know. As a matter of fact, I think there's a university
It is
that's coming out that was already out.
No,
It's already-
it's a no. So they stream on like YouTube, and now it's become a community, like a streaming community, where all you have to do is just play video games, and you get a community of people together, and they all play video games. They stream the game that's live on the TV because they're all in the game, and they have little small pictures of videos of themselves around the game, and they're all talking and stuff, and that's like become so popular.
No, I
But you saying
actually
it's
saw
cool,
a university, and I'm gonna get the name of it, but yeah, it teaches you how you get a degree in gaming, pretty much.
Okay.
Designing games, yes.
But that's computer science. Still.
Yes.
That's still computer science
But
engineering.
but see, but that's what they're doing, because they're shifting the learning curriculum to fit the capacity of these younger ones right now. Because see, when we grew up, you know, I'm not gonna call our generation slow, but you know, we wasn't at this fast pace.
Right,
We
right,
didn't
right.
have
Slow.
you
Y'all
know all
little
this
slow.
tech. He said we slow rollers.
That's what y'all-
we
didn't have the
I said y'all a
technology.
little slow.
We all slow
know,
when it
it's
comes
being
to
over.
technology.
Yeah, technology.
But y'all slow when it comes to making them real moves
Tell
out there.
the truth, right?
Alright,
There you go, there you go.
We like, come on, we waiting on you to
Go
come.
when there you
Alright,
go. There you go.
listen,
So
alright.
we need y'all need us.
Exactly.
I like that one. Look, I ain't
I like that. I like that.
All this shade. Can't even call it a
I
shade.
was all
right?
these trees,
Right?
shade
All
on
this
it.
shade over here.
I like that.
Generation to generation. But no, I think the bottom line is to actually build off of one another. Each generation should be building off of the, you know, the
The
previous
next.
one. Yeah. So right now, this whole gaming degree or whatever they can get, in a sense, I'm kind of glad that they are shaping things around their capacity, but they also need a foundation. Like she said, computer science. It may not be called computer science, you know, just designing games or whatever, which is a really like a psychological, it's really psychological. So right now, I'm really gonna be a computer scientist versus just designing games, and I think the kids today kind of need that. So so you can bring it on their level where they're at. So you know, somebody who may like to dance, you know, they love just entertainment and dancing, need to, you know, whoever is building the next curriculum, put something in their language. That's what I'm saying. Put it in their language.
That's like her being not the
The
kitchen.
restaurant. She's the restaurant.
She's a
She is the restaurant.
I threw her in the kitchen.
She put in the kitchen.
I'm on fries.
Flipping the burgers. No, but that's going back to like what she's saying, basically like you not having your own liquor brand, but making the
Yes,
brand.
exactly.
Manufacturing.
Exactly.
It's not about, but even like I was in the hair industry, and that's the same thing like when you get in the hair industry, it's like you find hair vendors, right? Mm-hmm. And people go and they find these people. That's what I'm saying.
I'll get you the machine.
Oh, all
There
right.
you go.
Well,
See,
look,
look,
y'all have just witnessed
I'll
a
help you get
multi-billion-dollar partnership
There you go.
right here on Truckers Off TV.
Can we get a hand clap? Can we get a hand clap?
Hey, y'all help me get that machine,
Machine,
because I just
yeah.
got it for one of the other cousins in Atlanta. Shit from over in China. She gonna
right.
be wafted here.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
So,
you wanna do that?
what y'all don't know is,
Go
see,
ahead, girl.
when
Go
God
ahead.
prepares the
Say
table,
what
all
makes
you gotta
me
do is
fit.
find a seat.
go.
I got my seat right next to you. Look, look. Oh, y'all like my quotes. I'm getting better with my quotes.
Oh,
Y'all
wow.
see me getting better with my quotes.
talk.
You like that one?
Yes,
You like that one?
I love that
You like that one?
Love it.
Oh,
Love
I'm
You
getting ready to be
prepared.
like
You
them.
prepared for
Shoot,
May.
that's
You
right.
prepared.
Girl,
Look, I'm learning from the slow generation. Y'all ain't that slow, huh? Hello.
Right, yeah.
Gotta wake up. But no, for real, like it goes back like on some real stuff. Like, you know, we're just talking and having a good time, but for real, it's like you see that. Like I used to do hair, I used to sell hair, and I was good at it. We did it. You know, we were just talking about that when I went to go buy this hair. I wanted to say something when we were talking about options. I went in, and nowadays you can get tape ins, glue ins, this type of hair, long, straight, wavy, double drawn, single drawn, 2 different, 3 types of drawn. Oh my God, you get lace fronts, full lace, 360, just the front closure, and so many options. But the interesting thing about that, I was talking to the owner of the hair company, and he was saying, he said, yeah, we actually have a warehouse. He said, this is here, but we actually, he was local. He said, we have a warehouse. He said, but depending on where you are, you become a target. Yeah. So this is my storefront, but I have millions of bundles in hair not too far from here. He said, but because I'm in Baltimore, I have to, you know, do it, be where I'm at. And so my thing was, I was like, yeah, because I asked him, I said, why haven't we hair is $1 billion industry. I said, why haven't we just brought, you know, some people from over in China, brought them over here, and we built our own factories. Right. And he was like, labor laws. And I said, I get it. But I said, well, why haven't we just like found one of them representatives that we talk to on WhatsApp, because people know what I'm talking about. Why haven't we said, well, you know what, can you come here? You run it from the United States. You got connections with them over there, and we're gonna get 100,000 bundles in this United States warehouse, so the shipping can be quicker. But you not in China, you here, so they trust you just like you would be there. Right. I'm giving them too much, and they might.
You're all right. But break it down even further.
And I asked this guy, and I said, why haven't we done that? Like, we talked to the reps, but yeah, granted, we can't bring the factory here, but why don't we say, okay, representative, I'm talking to you, you're in China, they trust you, you work for them. What you're gonna do is you're gonna come to the United States, we're gonna build a manufacturing facility here. We may not need to always have an assembly line, but for the packages and things like that, we can do that here, because there are some people that can do that. Or we house it here. I did know there is some companies out there, I think it's called Ted Hair in Atlanta. It's a couple places that do say that they're the wholesalers, but I don't hear us talking about that. You want to be the manufacturer.
You want to be the manufacturer, and that way you're in control.
Yeah.
You know, when you are in control, like I said again, you at the top of the food chain. You know, you want to be able to buy your own real estate. Right. Make sure it's in the community that you want it to be in. That's your warehouse. That's your real estate. Then you can bring your own equipment. Then you can hire the people that you want to hire. You know what I mean? And then from there, you can hire the salespeople. You don't even have to, because you got independent sales reps that's going to sell it because you manufacturing it here. Wow. So all day long, there's different levels of manufacturing that'll all come. You have multiple streams of income, because now you're selling your own brand. Now you're selling other people, making brands for other people, right? Then at the end of the day, you're making samples for other companies that might want to, you do business to business. And then you already have business to consumer.
And now you can come off that fry machine.
Right.
Because, I was on the fry. Matter of fact, excuse me, how may I take your order? I was at the window. I didn't make it to the fries. Matter of fact, I was, excuse me, sir. I gotta get this spot here. Excuse me. I was mopping the floor. But no, and it really enlightened me when you made your own season. I was like, dang. Because I don't give I'm not sponsored by her in any way, and I want to say that but the first thing I said was like, oh, the lady be loved. I would say she made her own. And you was like, yeah, I've heard, I've seen, but. It just was like, I was like, dang, you got your own seasoning. Like, if somebody want Maryland's best crab cakes, they can get the Maryland best seasoning. You break it down for them, you make it plain for them. And then when I was talking to you, I'm like, so that's your vodka? Yeah, that's my vodka. Look on the back. And she fine print right there, that's me. And then I was like, I went even deep. You went even deeper.
Last name too.
Right, last name.
That's what I'm saying. Then we went even deeper in there, right? And I was like, oh, so you put that in a bottle yourself? Yes, I'm not on the fries like you told me. And I was like, oh, so you even make, ain't nobody turning on that machine until I'm there. You know what I'm saying? So those types of things, I was like, wow, I didn't just see the product. I seen you made that, and it was so shocking. I was like,
and you know what? And I mean, it's a good product.
Yeah.
We had a chance to sample
Did
it
you?
was just, yeah.
Oh,
my
okay.
God,
Y'all got turned up.
No, we didn't get turned. Come on
Is that
now.
how you came up with the seasoning name? Little Black Mama Space
No,
Game?
we had a little taste, but no, she did. Honestly, she did
said
a great
she came
job.
up
If I
with
had
the
to pick my favorite, I'll say that chai tea. She
that was good.
that right
That one
there,
right there?
that and the peach. Yeah, we tried those.
What's chai
but
tea? What's that? Chai tea? I don't know. I don't know what that is.
Chai tea.
What is it like?
Pull out
Caramel?
Pull out that green tea.
No. It's not no
Chai tea
it has like it's a spicy tea.
It's a spicy tea.
Almost.
With
Not hot.
cardamom, yeah, and cinnamon.
So
and
how
all
many
these other
different
herbs.
flavors of these do you have? You have a green tea?
You have a green tea.
Can we see the green tea?
Can
I
you
want to
get
see the green tea.
Yeah, bring
And
'em up,
then
bring
what's
'em
this?
up.
So this
The green
one right
tea,
here.
the
sour,
peach.
that's the soursop. Now soursop, people know it as cherimoya. It's a Latinos.
Okay.
West Indian, Caribbean people know it. And so, and my family's from the West Indies on my side of the family. So I make a soursop, and I can't keep that on the shelves anywhere in Brooklyn and Puerto Rico.
I'm gonna get some for my daughter. She likes soursop.
Yeah, so and the chai tea, of course, is chai. I made it to have more of a taste, almost like a whiskey or a scotch, because I'm moving into a scotch blend that I'm making the end of this year. So it'll be an American single malt whiskey. So I wanted to have that flavor profile, whereas when it rolls off your tongue, it has like almost like a smoke sweet taste.
Oh, it's good.
And
It is
with,
good.
With spice. So that's how that is.
What's
and
that
then,
one?
And this is the straight one. This is just the straight, but I make it from whey. And whey is what the byproduct of milk and cheese. So
is it whey like the creatine whey?
He knows about the gym. Do you talking his
like that's two different things?
So no, it's the same thing.
Okay.
So whey is a byproduct of when you're making cheese. So now the big companies, they make the whey protein and stuff, but you still have a sugar wash that's still left, and it's called a milk permeate.
And see now
you're going into making it, because then there's no waste.
Now you going deep.
Look,
look, right?
Look at that.
Go ahead, Derek. Go ahead, Derek.
I'm just joking. No, but listen, y'all.
But you're joking. But I was going to say something about when you asked what was whey. I was going to say, see, if you came up in our era, you would know Little Miss Muffet sat on her tuffet, eating her curds and whey. You would know that.
Oh, my God.
Right? Yeah, you would know that.
So you said, so
come back to these hookah pens.
Oh yeah, so no, I was talking about like just business, and we talking about different stuff, and I was saying how I was like in the different clubs, and you could spend a certain amount of money, and just doing entrepreneurship on different levels, and we were saying how we were in the VIP areas where we started seeing the regular population of people, and we was like, how can we make money off of just the people that can't get a table, or the people that don't have $3,000 to spend?
Right.
And Rich was like, how can we do that? And we thought about hookah pens, and then we came out with the hookah pens, and then I'm not saying we created hookah pens or anything, but then
being an answer.
But then it came a wave of vapes. So then vapes kind of came out like a year or two later. They were probably out, but they weren't,
But the hookah pens was customized.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. So we're gonna insert a picture of the hookah pens too, and basically the hookah pens, we blinged them out. So my mama. Love her to death. Don't get she really came through for us. You remember that she used to spend, so it was therapeutic to my mom.
Wow.
Which is so funny. Like my mom does assisted living. Like she sits with elderly. So you have to.
My mom does it.
So that's so what it was that when my mom would sit there, most of the time she's just like babysitting an older person. She's on her phone, so she would bling out my hookah pens while she's sitting there. She got one glue gun. She had the glue and she had the pens, and she would do like 300 in a day. We loved her. We was like,
wow.
She was like, drop them off. She would unwrap them, re-bling them, repackage them perfectly by 50s, put them in bags, and ship them back to us. And we made some money. And me and Richie would do it. We'd be in that joint talking after we get through 20. We was both sleep on each other. But again, we went through that era, and we just seen a promoter, one of the promoters that this is entrepreneurship. We seen a promoter. We was talking to him, and we was like, yo, we really appreciate you, dog. We really appreciate you for allowing us to come to your events.
Nice.
And I'm gonna tell y'all what he said to me. We said, back then, when you seen us, today we talking about our trucking business and our success. Back then, when you seen us, we was hustling to feed our kids. We was hustling to eat. We was hustling. And I said, I so appreciate you. He said, see, you know what he said to me? And I shout out to Mo Stacks. He know who he is.
Thank you, Mo
And
Stacks.
I appreciate him for real because he said to me, he said, Asia, I know my purpose. He said, that wasn't my lane. He said, I'm the promoter.
Wow.
And I said, wow. And Mo is like a really motivational promoter too. He's like a brother to us. He always respected our marriage. He always respected me and Richie. And he never shaded on us. He never folded on us.
Wonderful.
He never changed on us. If I could go to Mo today and be like, Mo, I'm coming to the club you work and I'm selling the hookahs, he'd be like, man, come on. He never took money from us. You know, granted, you come into a party promoter, you sell anything, you give him money. Mo was always like, Asia, I don't want no money. And there was a few others that may have did that, but Mo never changed is the point that I'm trying to make.
Wow.
He never
That's why
flip-flopped.
he's
He never
blessed.
flip-flopped on us. He never went back and said, oh, now that this is, I'm going to take 20. Or when he took losses at the end of the night from, you know, maybe the club didn't do whatever, but he never came back and said, hey, Rich and Asia, I know y'all made a couple dollars in here. Give me some of that money. We were standing right next to him at the end of the night. He never asked us for a thing, even when we knew he was. Now, guess what? I even offered when I seen, like, you know, they were paying out bills at the end of the night, is what they call it. He not that he was taking a loss, but he was paying, like, security. He was paying the bottle girls. I was like, you want me to pay one of them? He was like, sis, go ahead, sis.
Wow.
Like, that's what he would say to me.
That's good.
And so I
That's
really
good.
appreciated that. But like I said, in entrepreneurship, it's different levels and it's different things. And what the point that I'm trying to make is, I'm sure in your business and in your business, there are people that you remember that when you was at the bottom, they gave you that chance, so they did that. And people remember that. I also have a story that I'm not going to share, but there was a person that tried to steal our business.
Oh, that's
And because
That happens
but
all the
because
time.
we
Yeah,
were
that comes
loyal,
with
but
the game.
because it was so unique and because we were so loyal, who did God show us who that person was? And that person came back to us in the end. God showed us who that person really, and because we were loyal to our promoters, we were always fair, we were always good. They shut that down. Like, that's not it. We not doing that. And they never
Right.
gave a chance because see, what God has for you is for you.
It is
Nobody
for
can
you.
take it from you. So although she was inspired, it didn't work. And then in the end, when the pandemic hit, only certain parties were going on, but it didn't stop the party life.
wow.
So
Really?
when we still had those connections, they had this guy had 3,000 people show up on a Pier 1 pavilion in October of 2020. And we was out that junk with our masks on, standing at a table outside, and we sold completely out of hookah pins.
Wow.
He said, well, y'all can't take it inside, we'll take it outside. We were on the water in October. I have a picture of that day. We completely sold out of hookahs. Then me and Richie went with Times. We was like, okay, well, they don't want to share hookah no more. We gonna get big portable coal. Remember we switched? We said we gonna get little small hookahs, but they were disposable.
Oh, wow.
And so we
Okay.
said, well, instead of the pins, people don't like the pins, they like the coals. We started investing into little light up little hookah cups. People know what those are. And we just changed with the times and we continue to
Yes.
sort out. But as we grew, this is something that you guys talk about to us. To tell me if I'm wrong. When you grow, it's not that you're better than where you used to be. It's not that you're better than where you were. It's that you grow out of that atmosphere. So it's not to say that we can't do that business anymore. It's not to say we shouldn't have passed it down. But it's for Richie. I even wanted to do an event recently. I was like, come on, you want to go? He was like, absolutely not. I sit in my house on my computer and make 6 times that amount in one day. Why would I leave the house and go make that? It's not worth it. He said, I would be tired at the end of the night.
Right, you
And I
should.
thought about it. I said, you know what? He said, you don't need to exert yourself to that energy anymore, Asia. He said, if you can make that same amount of money here, but he go to hustler in me. I'm like, man, I know I can get that extra
Right,
money tonight.
exactly,
I'm like, but
exactly.
Richie had to really make me think it wasn't worth me to go and do that if I know tomorrow I'm gonna make double that. Because now we're talking about energy, talking about people drunk, we talk about shootings and violence, we're talking about trying to run to the car with our money, we're talking about just so many different things.
Energy.
The
Time
energy, the time.
is money, and time is more valuable.
He
than
would rather
money.
sleep
Yes.
than to go and make that little bit of money. And it wasn't a little, it's still a lot. I'm not saying little, but I'm not gonna downplay it. But he would rather, you know what I'm saying? But we also appreciated those people though. Like I gave
you
that
did.
guy, let him know, like I really appreciated you doing that for me because I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying I'm on a higher level, but all I'm saying is that when I was out there, when I was hustling, you really seen that in me.
But you
but
know what
you
that's
can't-
called?
Graduation.
stepping stone.
Yeah, and you can't stay in kindergarten forever.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes it's just those things that lead to the next thing. You know, and that's how we see it. You know, we started out. I remember I got laid off back in 2000, and it, you know, when you talk about hustle mode, it was like, okay, what do you do? You know, and we, I think we were making gift baskets at that time, and we were going to the funeral homes and, you know, taking gift baskets, and we realized like, oh, this is not moving too well.
Right.
So we started offering obituaries with the gift baskets.
There you go.
Yeah, so it that really just took off, you know. I mean, it's always, you know, and then once we did that, that was probably back in 2000, 2001, 2003, we moved out of that house and bought another house, had a house built. And we were like, we realized that I never thought about printing. That wasn't in me. I consider myself like a designer. Like I like to design, event designing. But those obituaries were the thing that led to the thing. You know what I mean? So making the baskets, going to see funeral directors, knocking on their doors, letting them know what type of product we have to offer. You know, we started doing obituaries. That led to us actually having a house built, getting the house, thinking, okay, we're still going to do obituaries. And obituaries just died out because by that time, people were buying home printers. You know, home printers were available, so you can buy your own printers, you can print. But I went back to, okay, I like designing. I didn't do baskets. We went into event designing. So we started doing event designing. The event designing led into catering. And cooking and baking and so forth. So it's always that thing that leads to the thing.
So
it's
how did
okay.
you start with your distillery? Going back to the very beginning when you can remember like she did. How did you start?
In college.
In college.
Okay, so take us back.
I used to make some drinks in my room.
Okay,
tell it all.
Tell it all.
Mr. Braxton, we used to have parties. We used to have a lot of parties. You know, he even got a liquor license on campus. You can't do that today.
Oh, wow.
We had the
Oh,
liquor
no, you
license.
can't do that
now? On campus.
No.
What?
He said you can probably do that. Look at you can't do that no
No,
more.
you can't do
We're
that.
talking about 1987, okay?
Right? You can't do that now. You can't get a liquor
Go ahead.
campus.
True, but yeah, we used to do parties, always making stuff. I would always make drinks for my roommates or whatever. $2 a cup, y'all.
Listen, hustle,
Right, hustle,
man.
right?
I love
Yes,
it.
Yeah,
indeed.
but you know, you're in college.
Yeah.
You ain't got no doggone money.
Yeah.
Even though I worked,
Tell
I
the
still
truth.
you
Gotta make it
always
work.
trying to make it
Yep,
work. And
yep.
you're from New York, Brooklyn, you know, it's always a hustle and all that. We, you know, but you don't probably know, you don't know, but we used to have parties. We had Cuz House Productions. Everybody,
What
because it
Cuz
was
House
all the
Productions?
Braxton cousins.
Won't you stop?
She
New
said
York.
Cuz House
Yeah,
Productions.
because that's what it was.
Yo, can we get that back?
Yo,
Cuz House Production. Yo, that's dope.
Everybody knew Cuz House Productions
Stop.
in
Wow.
Brooklyn,
No.
Queens.
Yeah.
We used to have some parties. It was
Yeah.
my husband, his brothers, sisters, and his cousins,
Yeah.
Wow.
myself. We
Yeah.
put our money in. This is back.
Oh no, I'm bringing
This
Cuz
is
House
But
back.
Cuz House
Sorry.
Don't you
Productions.
like that Cuz House? I'm going to Cuz
Then
House.
we had the liquor license.
Yeah.
We
Go
had
ahead.
what? That she had the strippers, right? She had some
Oh.
strippers.
Yeah.
My sister had some strippers
Yeah.
coming. But people were packed at the door. His brothers with security. His
Yo,
other cousins
Cuz
with
House.
security.
Yo, I
Strapped.
love it.
Y'all had everything laid out.
Right? In Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Everybody knew.
So, man, how often
about-
was this? Every Friday?
No, this was like what?
Yeah, how often
we
was
did?
this?
We did it like the first time we did it like once a month first, or was it? Yeah, and then it just got so popular.
Yo,
I
what
never
Cuz House
because it was all the cousins.
I know, but
everything.
Cuz House
Productions.
Yeah.
And
Yo,
we
I
did the
gotta bring
music.
that
We
back.
rented the hall. It was crazy. It was on Eastern Parkway. But people,
Wow.
I'll never forget the time I was in Dwayne Reed drugstore, and I was standing on line, and I heard these two people talking online about, yo, did y'all go to that party last week, Saturday, on Eastern Parkway by Cuz House Productions? I said, that's my man. That's my boyfriend and his cousin. It's like, yeah, because it was
Wow.
It
really,
blew up.
yeah, it was a lot
It was
of fun.
buzzing.
Yeah,
Wow.
but then you know what happens. We all get tired of doing it because we all
Yes.
want to do our thing, but we made a lot of money, you know? know, which was this.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
you know, when you see that, and just, I'm always been an entrepreneur. For me, I wanted to make tequila, but then I found out I couldn't make tequila because you got to get tequila from Jalisco, you know. But then when we moved to California,
Okay.
I said, you know what, I wanted to do this because I wanted to have a legacy, and I've always knew on the chemistry side how to make liquor. Always. That comes from engineering. That comes from school, because we all got to do chemistry.
And you need that
And then-
foundation.
right. Your chemistry, knowing these formulas, because you're going to do the calculations. Now, me, I was always experimenting on my campus with my roommates, you know, on the 6th floor. So, you know,
Oh, wow.
and that's what you got to drink. Hold on, let me see what I got next weekend. You know, so you
for
want
real.
to do that because
Wow.
that is really the mind of an engineer. And you'll find that a lot of engineers are also brewers. You know, that's how they get into the beer game. And then when you get into the beer game, then it's to the whiskey.
Yeah.
And now you get to the whiskey because now you have to distill. So now you get to the vodka. So it's a progression over
Okay.
time. You know, so for me, I
Wow.
enjoy doing that.
And then
know,
you
I
went to the
really do.
distillery.
But distillery, yeah, once I had the vodka, then to me, it would just only made sense with having the distillery and manufacturing.
Okay.
Because I used to use somebody else's distillery, and I would go there. And then after a while, you start using people's stuff.
Yeah, you want your own.
Then it's like, you know what?
I ain't
I
gonna
can
do
do
it.
it.
I can't get
Upcharges.
on the assembly line
Or the
to do what I
upcharges.
got to do.
Yeah.
You know, even though we all was all invested into doing this, you know what I mean? And then I ended up going to another distillery, a white woman, you know, Covell Distillery, and taking classes and learning under these pioneers in the distilling industry.
Oh, wow.
They have
Okay.
Covey, they're German and Australian, because that's where you're gonna want to learn from people who are doing it.
Right.
And they taught me every aspect of the game in 2015 of blending, distilling, and I have that. So
Wow.
even to make my own products better, you know, with the materials and blending. So it's a progression over time, you know.
Wow.
And now that I have, when the time came out when, you know, the pandemic happened, I started, you know, I was making hand sanitizers for the government.
We saw that.
Yeah, because I was making hand
you did?
sanitizer.
Oh,
I did it for the schools. I did it for hospitals, but Department of Homeland Security was my client.
Wow.
So
Oh,
Department of
that's
Homeland
amazing.
Security
Oh,
was
beautiful.
paying. Shoot, they would just come and let me tell you, government know how to pay money.
They cut
I
that
can tell
check.
you what.
Yeah.
Check, credit card, whatever. You just get your money on the spot.
Yeah.
Right?
See, I like that.
Yeah.
I like doing business with the government and privately. I always used to tell people, when you have a business, there's 4 quadrants, and people don't think about that. You have international, you have government, you got your regular consumers, and you got nonprofit. All 4 of those quadrants, if you're in business and you're being diversified with your business, you're gonna do business in all of those sectors.
Exactly.
You know, and if one sector falls short, you just move to another sector. Let's say
There
if you
you
have
go.
a recession, then you know you're gonna do most of your government, you know, clients, because the government's gonna be spending more money than anything else on government contracts. And then
Yep.
you still have your
Exactly.
nonprofits and you still have your international. So people have to learn how to diversify their business, like I do with my
Wow.
liquor, any business.
Wow.
You know, and I suggest people go to sam.gov. That way you can apply, you know, put your company in there and get government contracts, and then they
Right.
can take you from there, and that's free. You got to get a DUNS number, but when you go and get the DUNS number, don't pay for it. Just tell them you want to be a government contractor, and they'll give you your DUNS number for free.
Wow.
You know, because you
Y'all
need
hear
that.
that?
Sam.gov.
Yeah.
Teaching me something I don't know about.
Systems, acquisition management, that's for the gov. So that's dealing, and that's on the federal side. We still haven't even gotten to the state side. You have
Sam
your
will be
state,
talking to you
you
tonight.
have the state, you know, that has procurement contracts, and you have
And they
city,
do.
and you have municipality. Because that's what I used to do. I used to teach people on government contracting a long time ago.
Nice.
But I've had a lot of government contracts as well, because I've serviced the American embassies with the liquor, a lot of business.
Oh, wow,
So
okay.
I've done, because
wow.
it's straight up containers.
Right.
You know, when you're dealing with the U.S. State Department, state.gov, those are all the U.S. embassies in the entire world. So they buy from New York or just United States vendors, but they'll only buy from vendors who are in sam.gov.
And exactly.
Whoa,
Yeah,
that
they
makes
will.
sense.
Yeah.
So that's what it is.
That makes sense.
And so when you're doing business with the U.S. Embassy in Rome, You know, what they want to do is they'll send you whatever it is that they need you to get, and you go and you get it. That's hustling. You know, whether you do that has that NAICS code or not, right? As long as you better make sure it's on your profile, because they're looking in that system. You also have GSA, General Services Administration, which you can get a 20-year GSA contract from the federal government.
They do.
And get paid, but people don't do it. There's also too exporting and importing. I have an exporter's license, so if you go to export.gov, you have all of these different areas that you can export to. And the U.S. government, I went to Hong Kong and with my liquor and to build up clients, but also the U.S. government paid for me to go to Hong Kong, because if you're a U.S. business, they want exporting. We only export 10%.
We do more importing.
We do more importing. So the government will pay for up to $300,000 a year for you to market your product overseas and export overseas. It's called XIM, right? It's EXIM.gov. And there's a whole entire program behind that. And our businesses, my business gets involved with doing that because I've done it. Y'all need to really do it on different levels. Right. It's real estate, it's any type of business.
Wow,
that just I really appreciate that.
Y'all need to be y'all don't worry, y'all listen.
I'm trying to process all
this.
Well, you better rewind this tape.
Look, it's serious. It's there, you know. Yeah. And that's how you build. That's how come you can see like a Microsoft or all these different companies get as big as they do. Yeah. It's because you go into different aspects. It's not just social media. It's the background. It's the back. That's what we call that, the back office of business. All the stuff that you don't see going on is making you more money than what you get on social media. Exactly. Because you can't see it, you know, and that's important.
And you know the sad part about social media, sad to say, when you make that money, as Asia was saying, you know, you end up spending most of that money just to have that look that your social media audience wants you to have. So you're not really reinvesting that money where it needs to go. Right. You know, like she said, taking that time and thinking about going overseas and, you know, having that international market, being a part of that international market and these government contracts. You know, I think, if we spend a little more time on educating each other on those things, I believe we'll be better off as a community.
That's awesome.
One other thing I'm going to give you. True story, because I used to do a lot of government contracting, not with my liquor, but with my other businesses. Guess who I sold nail polish to?
Go ahead.
Don't you better
you
not say OPI.
I know what you want to say.
It wasn't OPI, but yes, you wouldn't believe who I sold nail polish to. I always say this story because it was nice money.
Yeah.
Come on.
Guess who? Yes.
No, I can't.
In the government.
In the government.
Nail polish.
Nail polish.
Nail polish. Can you guess?
Nah, in the government, no.
No, you know what?
Federal Bureau. The prison.
No, the prison.
The Federal Bureau of Prisons, the female prison. They had a cosmetology class.
Yeah.
So they wanted 8,000 bottles of nail polish.
Go ahead.
They wanted.
She better stop playing.
That's true, right? She said she better stop playing.
I never even thought
that would have been a nice hair product. They could have.
Hold up. U.S. Health Services take the hairs because they want it for the wigs for the cancer patients.
Yes.
You know, but nail polish, I saw red. I think it was red, black, white. They wanted these specific colors. They said, "Can you get 8,000?" I didn't know where the heck I was getting that nail polish.
You gonna make it?
Yes, I can. Right?
I'm getting that.
Turn that down.
She said, "I will." Yes.
I will. Yeah. I kid you not.
Wow.
I went to the Chinese man. In the hood.
Yeah.
I kid you not.
You're a mess.
I did. I went to him
my God.
and I said, "Yo, I need 8." I went straight right there. It was like the Chinese store. I said, "I need 8,000 bottles of nail polish." He said, "I kid you not. What? Yeah, we can get.
They always.
How much you?
Yeah, they ain't gonna turn it down.
How much you gonna give it to me for?" He said, "How much you want to pay?" He said, "Okay, 8,000." I said, 8,000. He gave it to me for 10 cents a bottle.
You kidding me?
I kid you not. So I went and I charged them $1.
Go
I
ahead.
went and I charged them.
Girl, you
I
better
went and charged because I put that on the bid. I went and charged them $1.
Go ahead.
For it plus shipping.
Right.
Okay, so I said, "How soon can you get it?" So I think I waited like 2 weeks or whatever. He had all. He called me and he said, "Nail polish here."
No, you did not. You said cha-ching money
He
here.
said, he told me nail polish here, nail polish here. You come get nail polish. I said, yeah, I'm coming to get it. Kid you not. I got there. He had that thing all wrapped up and it said made in China and all that shit. He had like so many bucks. I had to call my sister. I had to call my sister. I said, Melissa, I need you.
But this is a good hustle
So
story.
tell the
though.
truth,
Think
tell the
about
truth.
that.
I mean, that's like
grabbed
$7,200
boxes.
profit.
I didn't even open up the boxes. Let me tell you, I just made my FedEx slip and
Ship
just
them out.
stacked it on the side of the
Yeah.
same
There you
box.
go. There you go.
Oh,
And you
my
saved
Took
on
it to
packaging.
FedEx and I shipped that sucker out. That's how you
Wow.
do it.
I mean,
And
listen,
I
that
made
story
it
right
brand.
there
I'll
has-
never forget that. That was like the
True.
yeah.
That story
was
has
the government
impacted. This
contract.
is
Entrepreneurship.
This is, I mean, that
Right?
took us
Tell
out.
the
That
truth,
story
right?
took us out. But that's hustle.
$8,000.
And like I said, I'm like, we are just so honored, y'all, to Richie.
Wow.
You got like, can you finish us and tell
I
us?
mean, we honored to have y'all. We really appreciate y'all knowledge. We actually want to bring y'all back on. We wish y'all could stay, but we gotta wrap it up, man. This is Trucker Talk TV. Please,
Come back
please.
anytime, nephew.
Come back anytime.
We're gonna take
Yeah,
Trucker
you
Talk
let
TV
G-
to y'all
right?
business.
Yeah,
Can
you
y'all,
coming.
can
You gonna
y'all,
come make
can
some
y'all tell the
graphics.
audience where they can find y'all before we leave, and then we gone?
Okay.
All right,
how can
so
they
yep,
get-
so the crab cake seasoning, you can visit our website at www.b3braxtons.com.
All right.
Nice. Well, for me, you can go to Black Mama Vodka
Listen, I love it.
on IG, Facebook, Twitter, and .com. So you can go to blackmamavodka.com.
Oh, wow.
You can
Listen.
buy bottles. Listen, if you're buying anything, I'll give you a discount code BlackMama10. BLACKMOMMA
10.
10, right?
Not MAMA, not mama.
We need our
not
own.
mama.
Can we get
Mama.
can we get our own code? Me and Richie need our own
Yeah,
code.
we
We
need
need
our
our
own.
own
I'll
Black
give y'all-
Mama
I'll
Vodka.
give y'all-
Slash Trucker
code.
Talk TV. Something.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
right.
gonna give y'all a code. I gotta put it in the system, but yes.
All right, we're gonna
right,
get the
tell the
code
truth.
so we
I
can
know the
start
feeling,
selling
right?
these Black Mama Vodka bottles.
Right. So that way,
we'll
definitely do that. You
Wow.
can definitely
All right,
do
y'all.
that.
Well, stay tuned for sure. And
Yes.
we really appreciate y'all for coming on.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate
for
y'all,
having us. Oh,
Kings,
thank you.
for allotting this time for
Yes.
us to
It was
use y'all.
Thank y'all.
And we are just been so excited. But we family, so
Right, y'all.
you
come
know
up.
we family,
Right.
y'all.
Yeah,
So
plus you coming up anyway, because you
For
gonna
sure.
get this
We said we're
license.
coming
This
up.
with
Oh,
us.
yeah, we gonna
Right.
pay.
No, I'm gonna
Yeah,
ride you
Yeah, we're gonna
behind.
talk
You gonna
about
get
that.
that.
Yeah, okay.
but
Hey,
yes,
y'all,
y'all.
listen.
So we
This is Trucker Talk TV. We back next week.
next week. See y'all later.
Peace.
Oh, peace.
We out.
We out.
His alter ego, the big Richie side.
You got build it up. You got build.
So listen, y'all. Man, we back with another episode, Trucker Talk TV. We got the family in the building. We got the bottles. We got the seasoning. We got the husbands in the background. Hold up. Okay, get a glimpse of this, but don't get too much. Okay. All right, listen. Show what that bottle look like. Come on, get it close.
Oh, that's it right there.
I'm sorry, I gotta take. This was too much. It's the peach right here.
The peach right here.
Peach.
Yeah,
Peach.
boo-boo.
A little bit. That's all you need is a
That's
little
all I
bit.
need.
There we go.
Another one. Another one.
She being stingy.
I ain't have my own supply.
Your own supply though.
All right, get it closer. Get it closer to the season. Get it closer.
Gotta get that seasoning.
wow.
What's that right there? Listen, explain the sample. How many crab cakes can I make with that one right there? How many crab cakes can I get with that
How many
pancake?
crab cakes? About 6. You probably can make about 6 crab cakes.
Can I get the crab? Well, you said I can get the crab balls. What you saying? Can I get the crab balls? Oh, no, yeah. Her husband said we get the crab balls. I get the crab balls or the crab cakes, whichever one y'all want. With that one right there or that one right. But this right here, mix that with that.
I'm about to order my
It's a wrap. It's a wrap.
Yeah, it's a wrap.